So, I'm gonna be honest. I think people think about work way too much. Like, way too much. I have a coworker who texted me at 1 in the morning asking about something that could have been asked like in the morning, but instead he was like, oh, I think I'm just gonna text you at 1 in the morning because I just feel like bothering you when you need to actually sleep. And I'm not perfect. Last year, I was doing a lot of the same things. I mean, I wasn't texting people at 1 in the morning, but I was checking work email and checking my work phone on the weekends and after work. And those are the types of things that really shouldn't happen. If you work 40 hours a week, you should only think about work 40 hours a week, right? That's how it should be, but it's not. And I'm kind of wondering why it's not that way. So after thinking about this for like a couple months, I kind of wondered why people were this way. And I've stumbled upon a couple reasons, which I found through like Reddit and Google searching, I guess. So I think there are two main reasons of why people think about work outside of work. The first reason is that people have nothing else to do, or they have nothing else to really turn to. If they have like a bad family situation, or maybe they don't have like a ton of friends or something, or maybe they just don't have like any hobbies of any sort, it can be easy to kind of just use work as like a crutch for fulfilling your life. The second reason is probably that everybody else around you is working really hard, and therefore you kind of have to meet those expectations in order to not look bad at work, in order to not get fired. You have to allow yourself to think about work outside of work so you can stay ahead of things, when in reality, it's like you don't actually need to do that. So the tips that I give in this video are going to be more aimed towards the first group. However, these tips will be interchangeable between the two groups. So the first tip is to take your mind off work while you're commuting home. So when you're driving home, you should put on like a podcast or an audiobook or like any like good music that you like to listen to. You just want to put on something that will occupy your mind in any way. Now this one is actually pretty easy because most people already do it. I mean, thinking about it just in general, people listen to the radio, they listen to podcasts, they listen to audiobooks. I mean, people are actually pretty productive in that way when they're commuting. However, I think people can take this actually one step further. What I mean by that is they can create something of anticipation for their commute. So for example, they would listen to an audiobook as they're getting to work. So this is as you're driving into work. You basically listen to the audiobook and then it ends like right on a cliffhanger. So then you'll be thinking about that at work. You'll be like, oh, well, I wonder how this book ends or whatever. And as towards the end of the day, you'll be able to take your mind off of work immediately because instead of thinking about work, you're thinking about that audiobook or maybe like a podcast that's really funny and you really want to keep it going. This is a really simple step. That's why I kind of had it as the first one. But I think it's just important to have something that you're really interested in and not just have something that's like kind of passive, like music you sort of like, because that can kind of annoy you sometimes and sometimes you'll want to turn it off. And then ultimately that will make you think about work a little bit more when you should really be listening to something interesting. I mean, if that's what you're into. So the second thing is probably something you've heard already, which is that you should turn off your work phone or you should not check your email when you're outside of work. Now, this one seems obvious, but I don't think a lot of people actually go through with this. A lot of people will have their work phones on or their work email readily available. And I think it's important to take steps to make sure that it's not easily accessible to you. So turning your phone off is one thing, but like putting it somewhere like, leaving it at home or like in a cupboard or something for the weekend is a good way to just make sure it's, out of sight, out of mind. Now, sometimes you might need to answer a call on the weekend. Maybe your boss says like he's going to call you, so you need to have it on. However, I would say if your boss doesn't specifically say that you need to respond to something, then I would say there's no reason to actually have your work phone on. And same goes for your work email. There's nothing specifically important to you that you know of. The main thing is that if there's nothing that's important that's going to happen at work while you're gone, there's no reason you should be contacted in any way. The third thing would be getting rid of anxiety for the next workday by jotting down the ideas that come into your head about work. So, for example, if you think about something like you need to send a work email Monday morning to like, your favorite coworker or something, otherwise, your boss will yell at you. If you think about that like Sunday afternoon, you should just pull out your phone, take out the reminder app, and then just type down like, I need to email my coworker Monday morning. By doing this, it seems counterintuitive, but it actually allows you to release your thoughts from your head. Because by putting it in a reminder app, you know that it's going to remind you, so you lose that anxiety. You don't have to worry about remembering this because your phone will remember it for you, so you don't have to do that work. And then it will allow you to think about other things. Adding on to this point, if, say, it's like Sunday night and you're, anxious about things, maybe you're still thinking about certain things, it may be good to like write something down in a journal or, again, your phone, where you can just check it the next day so that you can essentially just go back to that in the morning instead of having to worry about remembering these thoughts that night, because it can also allow you to lose sleep. So that would not be good. You don't want that. But just taking like 5 minutes to, just write down what you need to remember is always good. So the fourth and final thing is that you need to add more to your personal life so that your work life can't take over your personal life. This can be a wide range of things like picking up a new hobby or exercising more or joining a social club of some sort. The main thing is you want other things to focus on instead of just using the tips I said before to avoid work. Like, those tips are good and they will help you avoid thinking about work, but it won't actually do much if you don't have anything else to really add to your thoughts or to your personal life. Because the main reason why we worry about work during our personal time is simple. If we just don't have anything else to do, work will take over as a default. Because as humans, we can get bored and we want to do something to fulfill the time that we have. Which is a good thing, humans tend to want to be productive in some way, but it's hard to be productive all the time, and it can be dangerous to do that. It's good to just allow yourself some other things to be passionate about, and, they can seem productive to you, as long as it's just something that, you really feel passionate about, or something that you're really, focused in on. It can be really helpful, no matter what it is. So today I really zeroed in on individual changes people can make to worry about work less. However, I honestly think that systemic change is really needed in order for people to think about work less and to have less of this workaholic, productive society that we just always strive for. And honestly, I think I might make a video about that. I'm not really sure if I'm going to in the near future, but like I said, I think it's honestly more systemic. A lot of our personal time is being taken away by the need to be productive in some sort of way. Productivity is good, but it shouldn't just be productivity for a system. It should be productivity for yourself as well, in whatever way that is. But for now, I thought I would just throw some ideas out there. Again, this is just kind of my opinion, some of the tips that I've gathered online and through my experience. The main thing is I just wanted to help people realize that work can be draining, but there are some things you can do to make it a lot less draining. I know a lot of times people will say, you know, work is taking up all of my mental capacity, and that honestly shouldn't happen. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked this video, make sure to like it and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.